stuff that you aren't being tested on. What we're going to do here in this one, we're going to create a timer. And this timer we're going to call, I'll delete the door, we're going to call this timer occupancy. Just for kicks and giggles. And now the duration on this timer, we'll just do for purposes, example, of 5 minutes. At your station, why don't you do 30 seconds so that you can actually test this. Now, I will remind you with your motion sensor, any programming on the motion sensor, you should test the properties that the motion sensor is working. By sliding the motion, taking it off, turning it down toward, going to the property screen on that card access device, and watching the properties as you engage it, turn it around so that you can see it, sense, and unsense. You also have to have promised me that you have not connected it to your controller's contacts. If you've ever done that, you've broken the driver and you can't program with that driver anymore. So you have to nuke it and then bring in the driver again and then re-ID your motion sensor, okay? That much of the caveat. Now we can
30 seconds?
Yeah, because I'm not going to actually test mine, but in my real world, I may want like 12 minutes. You at your station want to be able to see this, so that I said keep it at about 30 seconds. So what we're going to do now is go to our motion sensor class and remind me on these motion sensors, what are the, class, what are the triggers on a motion sensor?
Motion.
Motion and no motion.
Okay.
End of motion.
When it senses motion and when it stops sensing motion. So here we go. I'm walking into my laundry room typically with my hands full. I got the laundry basket. I'm trying to get romance to go true. One of those jobs is to get the laundry done. So I walk in, my hands are full. I don't have to worry about using my elbow to get to the light. Why?
The motion sensor says.
Because the motion sensor, I actually have the, you know that card access WMS-10 comes in a disc form factor, goes straight to the ceiling and broadcasts out like this, right? Or senses out like this. So when I walk in, I've got it calibrated such that right at the door jamb, as you break that plane, boom, the light goes on. So how do I program that?
Motion area senses motion.
Okay, when motion senses motion, what do?
Decide what light you're on.
Okay, go to laundry light and turn it on. Anybody have any problem with this? Pretty easy, right? So, I walk into the room, boom, light goes on, I start doing laundry. I need a timer, right? Because if I ever leave, I want the timer to shut the light off. So how do I create a timer, class? Okay, I go to agents and create a timer. We set it to 5 minutes. So now what am I going to do to the timer when the sensor senses motion?
Start it.
Okay, I'm not going to start it. This is a little bit counterintuitive, so I want you to remember this. I'm going to stop it. Let me explain.
Can you just tie it to the when the motion sensor stops sensing motion? Shut the light off? Or hit start the timer and then shut the light off?
Just watch and then you can ask that question, okay? Because
Sorry.
there's method to my madness here, I promise. This is a bit counterintuitive, but I'm going to stop the timer. Imagine I had already been in the room, and I had just left the room. The timer started expiring if I had started it, right? And then it's like 3, 2, 1 as I'm walking in. Now, this may not in the laundry room be that big of a deal, but what about a garage? I got to go downstairs now in pitch black, and I'm halfway down, and the lights go doosh. Now, I fall, I break my leg, and I call my integrator and say, whatever you did to our garage light, fix it. So the problem using the whole feature of a motion sensor is you cannot really control when the motion sensor goes between these two triggers. They call it the hold time in the property setting, but when did it do that one? I don't know. When did it do that one? It doesn't. It goes between these two things on its own. So what we're doing is introducing a timer that can help you control what happens to the light. Worst case scenario, you get the lights flashed on you. You don't even want that. So let me have you get what's going on here, and you'll see why this is cool. So I'm stopping the timer in. I'm in the room. Do I even want to count down? I don't. I'm in the room. I want the timer to stop. So I'm doing whatever I'm doing. Now, I either hold still or I leave, what now triggers?
Motion sensor
Stop
stops.
sensing.
Motion sensor actually hits this trigger and stops sensing motion. So now I go over to my timer and start it and get my full window. In my case, it's 5 minutes. I now have a full 5-minute window. Now what happens if I walk back in the room?
The timer stops.
The timer stops. Why? Because it senses me, and what do I have on the sense me? I have turn on the light, well, it's already on, so that's not gonna do anything. But it's gonna stop whatever was, you know, if the timer was down to 2 minutes or 2 seconds, it's now stopped. And then if it does switch back over to here again,
It's gonna restart.
it's gonna reset it. It's gonna give me my full window again. You see? So at all points, I have